Welcome everyone to today's webinar. We do a couple of webinars a month. Some of them are overviews into ClubExpress for people that are either new to ClubExpress or considering ClubExpress as an association management solution. And we do a couple a month that are geared towards particular features or modules, and we're doing one of those today. And sometimes they're role or task-based. Samantha has been doing things like ClubExpress for content creators or ClubExpress for treasurers. And I think the next one is going to be ClubExpress for ski club events, where you might have very complicated events with different charges and different activities and payment schedules and things like that. So we're starting to drill down into particular use cases. But before we get into the demo, let's take care of a little bit of housekeeping. All the phones and microphones are muted, so questions should be entered into the chat window. And we will revisit the chat window at the end of the demonstration to see if there are any questions that were not answered. And this is particularly useful for those people that are watching this webinar as a recording. And speaking of recordings, all of our recordings are available on the ClubExpress Cool Stuff page. So if you go to clubexpress.com, click on Cool Stuff, then click on the Webinars tab, you will see the schedule of the upcoming webinars. As I mentioned, we have the events for ski clubs, and the one after that will be on the optional expense reimbursements module. And there's also a list of recently recorded webinars, so you can get to them here. Above the Webinars tab on the left is a Video Tutorials tab. If you click on that, it brings you to the videos page, and you can see the recent tutorials. And these are usually 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute tutorials that are very focused and very task-specific. Now, all of our videos are actually stored on YouTube. So if you're viewing a video on YouTube, you could click on the subscribe button and optionally on the notify bell, so you can be notified whenever new content is published. And one last thing, if you're using ClubExpress and ClubExpress is working particularly well for you, we'd appreciate it if you would go to clubexpress.com/reviews, click on one of these sites, leave a review so that others that are evaluating association management solutions can have the benefit of how well ClubExpress is working for your organization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my share here. Samantha, would you share, please?
So thank you everyone for taking the time to attend our webinar today. My voice is a little bit raspy, but I think we can power through. So today we're going to be talking about tags. Tags are something that's available on your site, but in my training time, I come across a lot of customers who just have no idea what tags are. And so I thought that it might be good to take a little time to formally introduce tags to everyone. So for anyone who isn't sure what a tag is, tags are essentially descriptive labels that are applied to various items to increase searching capabilities. A lot of times when you're searching for maybe an article or a photo on the internet, chances are that you are finding maybe articles that don't have your exact search phrase in the title or anywhere in the article, really. With photos as well, it's not likely that someone gave a title to the photo that perfectly encompasses everything in that photo. The title might give a good idea of what's in that photo, but not necessarily a lot of detail. So that's where tags are going to come in to help you. Tags are 1 or 2 word labels that you attach to items across your site. So when your users are searching for a photo or a blog post, they're able to search for just a few words and find what they need. And what's even better is that most of you have likely already used a form of tags in your own lives, maybe without even realizing it. So if you think about when you might post a picture to Facebook or Instagram, you likely add hashtags to the post. Those are tags people can search to find your post. So next time you post a picture of a really good sandwich that you ate and you're tagging that local sandwich shop, someone out there can search for that tag, find your picture of the sandwich. So why do you even want to use tags? Why should you use tags? Well, they make it easier for your members to search for things. And of course, in a lot of webinars, we talk about making things easier on your members when it comes to using your website. So, how about just taking away that frustration that they might feel when they're searching for something and just can't find it? And while it seems like more work, it really does help your admins and coordinators in the long run. Consider that you might be responsible, for example, for managing photos on your website, maybe using them to create custom pages or blast emails. And in the event that someone needs to come in and help you out, having items tagged is a great way to not only help you find everything on your site, but to help the volunteers who are popping in to help you, another officer, another admin. They'd be able to search for those things more quickly as well.
Now, Samantha, tags are metadata. It's data about your content, much the same as a blog's title or a document's title is something in addition to the binary of the document. This is something that can be searched, or let's just say the word discovered, because it doesn't have to be searching. And photos don't have very much in the way of metadata. You can't do, say, a full indexed search on them. So having the title and what the photo is about. This is about our balloon fly-in, or this is a technical document, or things like that, to be able to give people an indication of what your content is about, because what your content is about is more important than where your content is located, in which folder in particular a Word document might be located. And so using the tags is incredibly useful in facilitating discovery, because people may be browsing, people may be searching, and things like that. So this kind of metadata, particularly for objects that don't have readily available text metadata, is really important. Thanks, Samantha.
Sure. Thanks for giving my voice a break. So, where can you use tags on your website? You can use them in blogs, documents, news articles and photos, and photo albums, so that it's going to include if you allow members to upload their own photo albums as well. So, in today's webinar, we're going to demonstrate creating and managing all of the tags on your website. There are things called master tags and custom tags, and we're going to talk about the differences between the two. We'll go through applying tags to the different areas of your site and also searching with tags. And then we'll round it out with some tips on how to get started, tips on how you might think about applying tags to different items across your site. And if you're still not sure what things might be useful as a tag, we'll kind of give an example to go through that. So I am going to just quickly switch here to our trusty demo club, where we're logged in already as Martin Smith, an admin. And so Martin Smith is going to travel to the control panel. Now, tags are a built-in option on your website. They're a setup function located in the website tab in the setup options, tags. So because it's a setup function, you don't need to worry about enabling it to start creating and applying those tags. Now, when I navigate to tags from the control panel, like a lot of other search functions and databases on ClubExpress, you're going to see some default search options selected already. Right now, if I select search, it's going to show me my list of master tags. So let's take a look at what that list looks like. We can see that on the left-hand side, we have that notation that everything I'm looking at is a master tag. Let's instead select all tags and select search one more time. And now we can see our full list of tags being used across our website. A couple of things to note. On the left-hand side, of course, we have the notation of whether or not that tag is being used as a master tag. And the difference, of course, is that master tags can be created from the screen that you're looking at right now. Master tags are really tags that are created in advance. And you can even, in some cases, say that, well, when someone is uploading a document, I only want them to be able to use master tags. I don't want people going in and creating all of these additional tags that get applied to everything. I want them to only use the tags that I've defined for my organization. So again, in some cases, you can determine that only your master tags are used and not allow users to apply their own set of tags outside the ones you've created. And so again, that helps you remain consistent across your site. Custom tags get created when you apply them to the item. So instead of beforehand on this screen setting up those tags in advance, selecting them from a menu when you are applying them to your document or your blog post, you're just creating the tag on the fly. You can still search for them, the tags still get recorded. But again, you have two different types of tags. And as we go through today, adding items and creating tags for those items, we're going to see the difference between adding custom tags and adding master tags. Now, when I'm looking at my master tags or even my custom tags within this particular screen, I'm seeing the name of the tag, the module that that tag might be used in, and how many times, followed by the total number of times that that tag is being used. Then we have our trusty maintain column. So when I'm looking at the maintain column, I of course see our edit icon. That edit icon is going to allow me to edit that tag. I can change the tag text and I can note whether or not it's a master tag. So if I say, let's edit the ASME tag, I have the ability to essentially promote a custom tag as a master tag. So if someone adds a photo or a document or a blog post and adds their own custom tag, and I feel that that might be a tag that I want to be used more widely, I might add that to my master tag list. Because as you have, let's say, 5 different blog authors, they're only going to be able to see master tags as a shared tag list. They won't be able to see other custom tags that your users have added. They'll only be able to see either tags that they add themselves or master tags on that list. So you can think of master tags additionally as sort of a shared set of tags. You can also, of course, maybe you realize that you misspelled a word and you want to edit that particular word. In the case, of course, of misspellings, or even if you have, a handful of tags that seem like they're too similar and you want to combine them all together, we have a merge icon. Now, the merge icon is going to allow you to merge several tags together. So I'm going to scroll down, and at the very bottom of my list, I have a couple of tags here. Workshop spelled as one word, and workshop that looks like it may have been added by another person who decided to spell it as 2 words. So I can select the merge icon in line with the problematic tag, the tag that might be misspelled or the tag that I want to combine with another set of tags. So what I'm doing here is, instead of going into my blogs or photo manager modules, finding the photos that have been tagged with workshop as 2 words, deleting that tag, and then applying the proper tag, I can say, you know what, I just want to replace that workshop tag. So I am going to select all tags because it looks like my workshop tag is a custom tag. And I'll just scroll down and say, I'd like to replace workshop as 2 words with my 1 word tag. I'll go ahead and save that. And now my tag has been replaced, and you'll see that workshop has disappeared. And I now have additional items that are tagged with workshop as 1 word. So it's doing a lot of steps for me all at one time. I don't have to go in and replace that tag. And of course, you can delete tags. That just deletes every instance of that tag and removes it from the item that you've applied it to. So now that we've taken a look at our list of tags, we'll scroll to the top and take a look at adding a master tag. So again, when you're adding custom tags, those are going to get added as soon as you create the item, whether it's a document or a photo. When I'm adding master tags, again, I'm creating that master shared list of tags. So I can go ahead and add my master tag. And let's say that I want to tag this with treasury. And maybe everything related to my treasurer or my finance committee is all going to be tagged with treasury. And I'll go ahead and save that. By default, it's going to configure that tag as a master tag. Now I can always demote that tag if I'd like. I'll go ahead and save that. And now I have an additional tag set up. So now let's talk about applying those tags. And for that, I'm going to go right back into the control panel and I'm going to start popping in and out of some of the modules that you can use for tags. Now, of course, we're not going to go into a deep dive of these modules. We have plenty of tutorials and webinars that cover those modules already. So we're just going to talk about adding those tags. So let's pop into our document library, which is in our website tab. Now, within the document library, you are able to see a couple of things. On the right-hand side, a button that you may not have noticed very much before, Manage Tags. That button actually takes you right back to our Tag Manager screen. So while you're in the document library, let's say you're spending a couple of hours organizing some documents, retagging them, you can quickly navigate back to that Master Tag screen. And if I select Options for my document library, within the top, of course, we have our folder options, but at the bottom, allow custom tags on documents. So that enables your users to not just be limited to the master tags that you've created as an admin or as a coordinator, but to add their own tags. Now, that just allows your users to pick up where you may have missed. So when you're going through and creating master tags or creating lists of tags, which we'll go through some tips and tricks on how to get started with that, you might miss something. You might be more responsible for membership, or you might be more responsible for setting up volunteering opportunities. Maybe someone else in your organization or in your club or your association comes up with other things that they think members might need to search for. So enabling custom tags is an option to get more cooks in the kitchen. And usually we're trying to keep cooks out of the kitchen, but more heads sometimes are a little bit better than just a couple. So allowing users to add those custom tags is going to just expand your searching capability. And remember that you are always able to clean up those tags. So if your members start adding a lot of custom tags, maybe one member is spelling balloon and the other is saying balloons as a plural, you can always combine those together. So giving your members that option just opens up those searching capabilities for you. So let's take a look at a handful of folders that we have set up here, where we can search for tags and what people are going to be searching for. But first, let's take a look at where those tags are applied. So I am going to take a look at our current newsletters, and I'm going to view my documents because I'm getting ready to upload maybe another newsletter or a set of meeting minutes, and I want to make sure that my users can find them. I don't necessarily want them to have to navigate within folders and search just for a title. I want to add my document. I'm still in that folder. I am going to call this let's call this my July newsletter. And when I'm selecting those tags, you'll see on the right-hand side that I have this drop-down menu available to me. And when I hover over it, it says show the tag list. So when I say show tag list, it is going to show me just that list of master tags. So when we talk about that being sort of a shared tag list, this is what your users are going to see. Anyone who's adding photos, anyone who is adding documents, adding blog posts, they're going to see this shared list. But they also have the ability to just start typing in this field. So when you're thinking about items that you might want to add as tags, of course, I can tag this with newsletter, which is already a master tag. But maybe within the newsletter, we're talking about new equipment. And so if I just start typing the E because equipment is a master tag, I can select that. And maybe we're also talking about updates in silk. So hot air balloons are made with silk. So I am going to just enter in silk. Now, silk is not a master tag. So when I start typing, all I have to do is press enter and it adds that custom tag. Now, as soon as I post this document, any additional tags that I've created automatically get added to your custom tag list. And you can use those again and again. Other folks can still add silk to other items across the site, but they're not going to see it available in a drop-down menu. They would just add it themselves. And again, in order for everyone to be able to select silk without really thinking about it, you'll want to just promote that to a master tag. So when I'm creating these tags again, I'm just saving them with whatever document I've uploaded. I'm thinking about not just what the document is, but what's in the document, relevant information. Let's say you're uploading technical documents or medical articles. You might want to tag maybe the items talked about in the technical documents. Maybe you're talking about specific types of equipment, specific brands of equipment. And also keep in mind that these aren't just going to be member-facing searching functions, because your admins and your coordinators are going to be searching through these documents as well. So thinking about things that you're placing into those folders, again, we just created that treasury tab. So let's say that in our February newsletter, maybe I'm going back, and because I didn't apply tags to items when I was uploading them, I want to just take some time to apply tags to things historically. I don't even have to upload a new document. I don't have to do anything except pop into the edit function and select some additional tags. So I want to select that treasury tag because I know that in our February 2018 newsletter, maybe we announced our new treasurer. And I'll go ahead and save that. Now, let's talk about searching through the document library for tags from a member's perspective. So if I'm taking a look at our document library as a member, I have that search function at the very top of my screen. Now, you are likely used to searching for the title and the description, but within the description, you may not put in a brand name of some equipment. You might just say, this newsletter discusses advances in ballooning equipment. So it covers your bases beyond the title, beyond the description. So let's try searching for advisory as one of my tags. I'm looking for alerts that maybe have been uploaded. I'm looking for new things that maybe I missed, or maybe I'm just doing a little bit of research and I want to take a look at all of the documents that have this particular tag in it. I can select search. I can even narrow down my search by folder, and it is only going to show me those documents which have been tagged with advisory. I can add as many tags as I want to this search field, and I can show everything that has been tagged with either one of those items. Now, let's talk about blogs. Blogs are going to work in the same way. All of the features are going to work in a really similar way. But instead of adding a blog first, let's go ahead and search for blogs. So I'm navigating to blogs from my website menu. And let's pop into one of our trusty blogs, and I'm going to search through all of my blog posts. I want to search through any blog posts that maybe have talked about new regulation updates. So tags are showing up as I'm searching for them. They're predictive. So I'm searching for regulation. I can select search, and it's going to show me all of the posts. I can go right to the post that has been tagged with that particular item. So try tagging different topics that are discussed in your blogs. So I'm going to go back into my control panel and take a look at the communications tab and take a look at my blogs feature. We've talked about content creation. We've talked about different things that you can create blog posts for. Think about, if you're blogging about an event, tagging that blog post with the event itself. So if I go into maybe a draft that I've created, or even if I add a new post, I'm going to see that same add edit blog post screen. And again, right underneath the title and author, maybe a field that you have historically skipped over, is the ability to add those tags. And we see again that drop-down menu where you are viewing those master tags, and you're able to add your own custom tags. So tagging your blog posts with the name of your event. So maybe I want to tag this with just ballooning event or ballooning for kids. That's one of the events that we host at our Fake Balloon Club quite often. Maybe you're blogging about a new biking trail that you discovered, and you can tag the blog with that trail name along with other info like the trail difficulty level. So let's say that you are creating a series of blog posts about trails in your area and you want your members to be able to search and say, I only want to read posts about medium level difficulty trails.
By the way, just so that people know, Samantha had spelled the word ballooning incorrectly. She could have either deleted that custom tag and just redone it, or if it was saved, she could have just gone into the tag management and edited it and put in the correct spelling.
I'm going to say that I did that on purpose so that we could discuss that.
I know. Now, by the way, one of the things that Samantha and I were discussing before the webinar was that you can think of your master tags as taxonomy. This is a set of words and structures that you, as the administrators and the coordinators, have predefined. And you can think of custom tags as what's referred to as folksonomy, is what content creators call things. And very often there may not be a very good correlation between what you think something should be called and what your customers or your members think something should be called. You may have a word, a tag called customer, whereas your members might say, oh yeah, we use the word customer, but we also use the word client or tenant or patient. And so if they start adding these as custom tags, then you might come by and later on consolidate those by merging them, or say, you know, patient is a really good tag for our content because sometimes we're talking about other, say, doctors, and sometimes we're talking about patients. So it's just another way of describing what kind of people these are talking about. So taxonomy versus folksonomy is master tags versus user-created custom tags.
So let's talk about photos now. So we've talked about blogs. We've searched for a handful of different tags. When we're searching through blogs, it's very similar to searching through documents and searching by either one tag or multiple tags. So let's pop back into the control panel and let's talk about photos. Now, photos, of course, are available on a handful of different places on your site. You can tag photos that are saved to your photo library, photos saved to photo albums. And remember that photo albums are going to be that module that's member facing. So they're also going to be potentially photo albums that your members have created themselves. So when you're thinking about tagging photos, think about who is searching for those photos. Now, if we're talking about the photo library, that's likely going to be administrators and coordinators. And so when I am adding photos, or even when I'm searching within that photo manager, again, at the top, I can search for photos. And let's say that I want to search for any photos that have been tagged technical. Maybe I am getting ready to write up a blog post and I want to search for maybe some stock photos, photos that members have taken or submitted. And I want to pull up anything tagged as technical. And then I can just go through and preview all of those photos and decide which one I'd like to select for my blog post. And so when I'm adding photos, one photo or multiple photos at a time, I can go ahead and again select that drop-down list of master tags, or I can start typing in those custom tags that I want to use. And again, when you're thinking about adding photos, think about maybe not just where the photo was taken or who happens to be in that photo. You know, you can think about background of the photo. And we'll talk a little bit about that when we take a look at an example of a photo and how it's tagged later today. But thinking about what you might be looking for, you are thinking more ahead to the look and feel of your site, maybe the branding of your club or association. You might have photos that you're adding to your photo library that are stock photos. Maybe you want to tag some photos with city versus forest. Maybe you want to tag some photos with a color theme. You know, maybe you have a strong color theme across your site and you want to tag all of your bluish photos with the color blue. so that when you're going through and you're pulling photos to be used on custom pages, you don't have to dig through and look for that one photo that you know has a blue background. All you have to do is search for color within that tag list, and it's going to bring up all of those photos to you. So it's really just a wonderful way to not just make it easy to search for things, but make it easy to use things again and again, not just for yourselves, but for anyone who might be working on your site aside from you. Again, we have that manage tags option that's going to allow us to go right back to that tag manager screen. But what I want to do is navigate to another person's login. So I am going to take a look at our balloon club, but this time I'm logged in as a regular member, as Colleen Carter. She happens to be a blog author, but she has no other coordinator rights. She's just a regular member. Colleen is going to navigate to her member profile. She's going to log in just one more time. And within her member profile, because again, your members are able to upload their own photo albums if you allow them to. So of course, we have webinars and tutorials talking about managing photo albums that go through how to allow your members to create and upload their own photos to your website. So Colleen has the ability to do that. And so she is going to pop into her photo albums, and she is going to add a photo album with just some random pictures that she's taken that she wants to add to the website. So she'll go ahead and select add photo album. She'll create that photo album text. She'll assign it a description. And then when she goes back in to actually add those photos by selecting that edit icon in line with that photo album, she, of course, has the ability to view all of those additional photos. And when she edits those photos, guess what she sees? She sees the option to add tags to those photos. Now, photo albums are one of the places where your members are going to be able to add their own custom tags. This is going to be a great way to, the way that I look at it, crowdsource that list of tags that you're using across your organization. Without even asking, you are getting input from your members on what search phrases they think are relevant to what they're seeing and what they're adding to your website. So you can get a decent idea, a peek into their minds of, well, I didn't realize that when looking for this particular photo, someone might be searching for festival. So maybe I want to add festival as an optional master tag for people to use. A lot of people go to ballooning festivals, and maybe I want them to be able to tag that within the photos. So again, great way to crowdsource adding those tags to items across your site.
Now, one thing to note is that in some of the modules, if they have been configured not to allow custom tags, if you are an administrator, a little message comes up underneath the tags box that says only master tags are allowed. However, because you're an administrator, you can ignore that. Even if it says only master tags are allowed, you can enter custom tags.
Yes. So, like in many places on your site, administrators have the power to do everything. So, even like Alan said, even when you are limiting the tags that are used across your site, you are able to, as an administrator, add in those additional tags. So now let's switch back to Martin's profile, because we've demonstrated that users and regular members are able to add tags to photos. So, and one additional item that we can cover, which is the number of tags that you can apply to certain items. So as of right now, there is a limit of 5 tags per item. So keeping that in mind, when you are adding items to your site, you don't necessarily need to tag a photo or a blog post or a news article with 80 different tags. Using the title, the description, and the tags all in conjunction, you'll really be able to classify things on your site more easily. So I'm looking at my news articles. Again, I can search at the very top of my news article page. And let's say that we want to search for history. I want to take a look at any articles that have been written about maybe the history of ballooning or the history of maybe the organization. So I'm going to type in history. It's going to appear as one of the tags that I can select. And I'll go ahead and select search. And this is great. We have one news article that's available to me. And I can go ahead and just read that article and read more information about it. And so if you're posting articles, let's say you're posting articles produced by another organization or another source, consider tagging the article with the source. So if you're posting articles from maybe the National Ballooning Association or the FAA, you can tag those articles with that organization. And that way your members can go through and say, I want to search for every article that you've posted from this organization. If you're a local chapter, putting news articles or announcements on your site from the national organization, consider taking news from the parent organization and tagging it with that national acronym. So I'll use League of Women Voters as an example. Maybe you're posting news articles or announcements on your site from League of Women Voters National. Maybe you want to add the tag LWVUS using that national acronym so that your users can go through and find those tags. Or maybe you want to, as a local league, add maybe a state level tag. That way you can sort of siphon off that information that you're presenting to your members. And of course, any local organization that has a parent level can use that same example. So I'll go ahead and select add article, and we are going to see the same things that we've been seeing. So, again, consistency across your site. You get used to adding tags to documents. When you start adding tags to news articles, you're seeing the same interface, the same functionality, and you have the ability to do that very quickly. I have that list of master tags to the right. I can tag my articles with custom tags that I'm creating on the fly just by typing in that tag and pressing enter. And I can even create articles just using master tags alone. So I've demonstrated creating and managing those tags, applying those tags, and searching with tags. Our next step really is just, where do I start? So it might seem like a daunting task if you haven't already been using tags to go back and apply those to every area of your site. Try just start using tags moving forward. So every blog post that you add a couple of tags. It takes a handful of minutes. So where would you start with your master tag list? Maybe you don't want your users to add custom tags just yet. You want to go through and take the time to create that list of master tags. And as Alan mentioned, it's a series of phrases that you are specific to your organization, words that you are using to describe things that are specific to your industry. So where should you start thinking about those? Well, what are you going to be searching for? We talked about the different types of things you might search for when you're looking at documents versus photos. Who is searching for those items? If you're adding internal documents that are visible to administrators only, they might be searching for things that are different than what your members might search for when they're searching through documents. How would you describe these items and what are they going to be used for? Are you adding reports to your document library? Are you adding stock photos to your photo library? Are you adding informational blog posts versus opinion? Consider when you add blog posts, for the most part, a lot of your blog posts are likely going to be opinion pieces, maybe tagging them as such so that you know right away that, this is an opinion blog post. It's not going to be something that has a heavy amount of technical information in it. And as a bonus tip, if you're still not sure where to start creating that list of master tags, look at your interests. Look at the categories that you've set up across your site for inspiration. If you are familiar at all with ClubExpress, you know that categories are in a lot of different places on your site. They're a really great way to come up with a list of key phrases or key words that can at least get you going. And as you use tags more and more, you are going to find that it's easier to create that list. It's going to be easier to manage it. And so let's talk about an example. I have a photo here that I've downloaded from one of those websites that I talked about for content creators called Unsplash. And I've just taken a photo of a car. Now, the title that I might add for that photo within the photo library might be the actual name and model of that car. But when I'm a user or even a coordinator preparing a page for maybe a car show, I'm not going to necessarily search for the title of the photo. I might, but maybe I'm looking for a specific aesthetic for that particular photo. I might tag that photo with the make of the car. Maybe it looks like this particular car has some custom bodywork on it. So maybe I want to tag it with custom in case someone's looking for photos of cars that have custom paint jobs or custom work. I can tag it with that color scheme. Like I mentioned, if you're trying to keep consistent branding and consistent themes across your site, tagging with colors might be helpful. And also, it looks like this photo is taken with a city background, as opposed to photos that might be taken on a winding road or photos that might be taken in a garage. Thinking about all of the different things that you might be looking for. When I downloaded this photo, I was looking for something really specific when I was downloading it. So, thinking about the things that I was even looking for when I found that photo, or the things that I was noticing when I took that photo, the things that I was thinking of when I created that document, how helpful I thought this presentation I may have made might be helpful to different committees within my organization. So, thinking about outside of yourself, who are these things going to be helpful for? And what are you going to be searching for that you might come across these items? Alan, how are we doing on questions?
Well, we've got a question and a suggestion. One of the suggestions was that I wish that newsfeed and calendar widgets could be filtered by tags rather than category so that multiple selections are possible. For example, an event that involves multiple committees could appear on the filtered news feeds and all of those committees' custom pages. And that is a very good idea. And
Yes.
my suggestion for this and other ideas is for you to send an email to ideas, IDEAS, at clubexpress.com. And that way it goes into the wish list. And we have a question here that says, is there a way to add a tag to multiple items at once? For example, a whole group of photos, documents, etc. Well, from an editing standpoint, no, you can edit an individual photo. However, during a photo upload, if you are uploading a group of photos where you go into photos and where it says add multiple photos, you can pick the photos, you select the photos, but you'll notice that along with the date taken and the photographer, you can specify the tags for all of those photos at one time. So if you're uploading 100 photos, you don't have to tag them individually, just as you don't have to specify the photographer or the date taken individually. The question also is, if I search for car, will it also return cars, plural? And I don't know the answer to that. In fact, if it goes the other way around, if it's a singular and you search for plural, I don't think it will work. But the predictive functions where you start typing, if you spell it wrong, will it look for balloon is the question.
Well, as soon as I start typing, it auto-populates balloons for me. And if I press enter in order to search, it's only going to allow me to select balloons.
And there's a question that says, is there a search function for the home page so that someone can search the entire site? And the answer is not at this time. So I think that covers it for the questions. So Samantha, do you have any closing words for this webinar?
Well, I'm a big person for organization and categorizing things. So tags are one of my favorite items. I really do try to push them. It's one of those things that takes a couple of extra seconds when you are uploading these items, but in the long run, it really is going to make things easier for your members, for other admins and coordinators. When you think about you might be the only one managing your photo library right now, that may not always be the case. So, it's preparing a space on your site that's going to be easy for everyone to use. And it's really just a wonderful way to really organize and categorize things and make it easier for people to find things. And that's part of the reason why you probably obtained ClubExpress as your software provider, is because you wanted things to be easier. And this is just one of those ways to make that happen.
Well, thank you everyone for coming, and we hope to see you in the next webinar.